Hey, what's up guys, it's Soaps here. Welcome back to another episode of SketchBook Chronicles TCG. Legacy, yep, throw that in there. Okay, today we're going to be looking at the rules of the game, of the new game of course. And yeah, at the end I'm going to throw in a pack because I made some packs for people that I know, but I don't know enough people to give away all my packs, so I have one left over, so we're gonna open it up with you guys because I'm lonely. Okay, that just made it sound very depressing. Okay, whatever, we're gonna do some rules. So some of these cards you're gonna see in the pack, so spoilers, skip to the end if you want to see the pack. Okay, so there's how do you guys like the map, by the way? I think it's pretty cool. I worked on this last night. It's pretty nice. So here's a basic monster. If you didn't know what one of these looks like, this is what it looks like. It has a type, it has an elixir cost, which is in blue, it has HP, which is in out of focus, which is in green, and it has weakness and resistance, and this card doesn't actually have weakness or resistance, so we'll go over to a different card to talk about that. And it says has an attack, read your mind, one place, look at your opponent's hand. Okay, so that's actually not an attack. Well, Soaps, how do you know that it's not an attack? Well, if you look down here at each your brains, that has a damage and it has a cost. So when it doesn't have a damage or a cost, that means that it's an ability. So it goes into activation when it's placed, unless it says differently. So right here, as you can see, it has 2 dots, so that would be used by paying your elixir. And that's how much damage it would do to the receiving monster, and we'll go over battling in a bit. So if we throw out one of Danny's cards here, Wing Dino, it has a weakness of +10 when being attacked from dark monsters, and -10 resistance when being attacked by thunder monsters, or storm, whatever you want to call them. So if he was being attacked by, do I have any? Okay, well, let's pretend this guy was a dark type. You can tell because they would have the same symbol. And if I attacked you with Eat Your Brains, it would do +10 damage. There you go. And if this was a storm, it would do -10 damage, so it would do 40 instead of 50 if it was a storm. It's kind of self-explanatory. Weakness and resistance. And for example, another example, how many examples can Soap say in one word? 20 damage for 1 elixir. So that's another example of an attack. And this is another example of an ability, Mystic Face. All mystic attacks do +10 damage. So these guys would work good together, because if you have him down, then Eat Your Brains would do 60 damage. So there you go. So that's a little bit about just the basic monster cards. For elixir, you gain 3 elixir per turn. Yep. Hopefully that's I think that's what I said. I think that's what I've been playing with. 3 elixir. It's still kind of beta. I don't know. This might be changed in the future because I can do that because it's my game. But 3 elixir. So you wouldn't be able to place either of these guys on your first turn, but you would be able to use Eat Your Brains because it costs 2 and blah 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 blah. So you can only attack if he's on the field, obviously, and his ability doesn't work unless he's on the field. So you'd have to actually place him for the elixir cost to use him. That's kind of self-explanatory, but whatever. So now that we're on the topic of elixir cost, 2-parter cards. I love these things, and shaky camera. You have to, so they have no elixir cost, and the only way you can place them is by having 2 of them in your hand. And I just thought of some good combos, so yay. I just realized that when you have a card that can search out a monster, I guess you can get a half of a card. So let's say I can't, for example, Interspatial Bus here, spoilers again, you could use this card, and pretend this was a Mystic 2-parter card, you could just add half of it to your hand. That would work pretty well. So yay, combos. Might be making some cards to help you do that. So they have no elixir cost. You place them when you have both of them in your hand, and they work just like a normal card. So they usually are pretty good because it's usually hard to get them into your hand and place them both at once, but they're not crazy good as if you had a 6 elixir monster or something like that. So those are 2 parter cards. Now we're getting to spell cards. that was an example of a spell card. If you couldn't tell right here, you can tell it's a spell card by that symbol above. That's a spell card symbol, and it also has a gray background. I forgot to say, every card has a background depending on its type. So I know it's not really coming up very good on the camera, but that's purple. This is supposed to be purple. Danny can't tell purple from blue apparently, but that's okay. So these are colored purple because they're mystic. These are colored yellow because they're thunder and storm. And then spells are colored gray because they are spells. And up here it's purple. Is it? Yeah. My camera sucks with colors, which is very convenient because now I'm doing colors. So here's an example of a basic spell card. I kind of already explained this. Discard 1 card, search your deck for a mystic monster, and add it to your hand. That would cost you nothing. You can place it anytime on your turn. You can't place it on your opponent's turn unless it says so. So over here, this would cost you 2 elixir, but you can play it just like a normal spell card. So this one, equipped card has ×2 resistance and no weakness. So because it references being equipped, that means that you have to equip it for it to go into effect. So this is a very good card, by the way. If and you guys actually know me in real life and play the game, this is a good card to use because that means he has ×2 resistance. Okay, that would be a really bad card to use an example, but ×2 resistance, so that means it's doing -20 damage and has no weakness. So basically makes them super good against things that they resist and not weak at all. So this is a good card. There you go. So you can combo that with anything. That's just how good my game is. So good at making combos. Okay. Yeah, I think that, okay, yeah, attacking. Never mind, just prank bro. It's not the end. I don't know how Chaos Galaxy does this. Whenever I touch my area, the mat just goes flying. I need some tips, Chaos Galaxy. How do you keep your mat down? Yours is probably bigger than mine, but whatever. So, battling. So, if it's your turn and your opponent has a monster on the field, you can pay Elixir to attack. So, that's right, guys. You have to actually have money to attack. You can't just throw out attacks left, right, and center. So, for example, if it was your turn, let's say you didn't place anything this turn, you still had your 3 elixir for the turn, you could use Eat Your Brains for 2 elixir, you'd be down to 1, and you can do 50 damage to Wing Dino, which would bring it down to 30 HP. So, and then, let's say it's your opponent's turn, they could use Tiny Slap for 1 elixir, and it would do 20 damage to your Yeyeyeyeye. That's a fancy name. Came up with that myself, guys. Oh, and the phone is ringing, so that's cool. Well, we're just gonna ignore that. Yeah, so let's pretend you had 2 monsters on the field. Oh, Soaps, can I only attack with 1? No, fam. If you have the Monies, which you do, because this attack only costs 1. By the way, these have the same attack, same health, same weakness and resistance. They essentially become 1 card when you place them. 1 monster, yeah. Okay. That's why there are 2 parts. Okay. So, you could use... If you have 3 elixir, and you just started your turn, you could use Eat Your Brains for 2, and then gang up for 1. Both onto your Wing Dino and kill it. So that's how attacking works. Now we'll get into how you win the game. It's points. Like I said, this is the beta rules. This might change in the future. But right as of now, you and your opponent get to choose how much points you want to play to win. Usually I do 15 or 20 or 10, depending on how long I want to be playing. And so when a monster is killed, you gain a point. And let's say your opponent doesn't have any monsters. Well, how do I attack them? Can I attack them, Soaps? Yes, you can. So let's say you only have an Yeyeyeyeye. It's not your first turn. You can't attack on your first turn. Even if you're going second, you can't attack. It's not how it works. So let's say this is your second turn. Your opponent didn't place anything down because they're Danny. And you use Eat Your Brains. It doesn't matter how much damage it does, how much elixir it costs. You gain 3 points. Bam. So that would... You can only direct attack once per turn. Totally didn't make that up on the fly. but that makes sense. So we'll say that 1 direct attack per turn, because that could get pretty hectic. Let's say you have 3 guys out in the field. You can't just spam 1 attacks to get to do damage. Oh, and that comes up with another thing. You can only attack once with 1 monster. So let's say you have like 6 elixir. You can't eat your brains 3 times over. That would just be way too overpowered. So there you go, guys. Let's get into that pack that I was talking about. Now that this video is going to be like 3 years long, so I'm going to run out of storage too. So that's a plus. Yeah. So let's just open up this pack here. So it looks like we got a spell card first. It's Massive Ego. Discard 1 card. Draw 3. Costs nothing. Good card. There's Eleomonic on the front of that. Rein the Dealer. Another spell card. Draw 2 cards. No cost. Elixir Patch. Okay, we got all 3 of our spell cards in the front here. So there's going to be 3 spell cards and 5 monsters. Equipped monster can use 1 attack for free. Discard afterwards. Sloopisham. You saw him in the last video. Gishi Morps. Did you see him? Okay. Under Gishi, 20 for 1. Over Gishi, 60 for 3. There you go. You can look at him if you want. Pause it. Pew Pew Bear, Zoom Zoom, 20 for 1. Flip a coin if heads, this attack does 50 damage. Cool Kids Bar and Grill, you just saw that card. And Commodities for Days. When this monster attacks, search your deck for a spell card and add it to your hand. And then gang up for 1 elixir. So, yeah, this is a good card for searching out your spells when you need them. So it's going to be pretty good in a deck. So one more thing. We haven't really decided on the deck size. But I guess that could be another thing if you wanted to play in a format, because my game totally has those. You could do like 30 card format, 20 card deck format, 40 card deck format, 50 card deck format, 60 card deck. But I'm guessing we'll shoot for like a 30 card deck, because that's what we did in the last game and that worked. So I am literally 10 seconds away from my limit. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry that this pack was kind of rushed. Okay, I'm going to see you later. Okay. Thank you for watching.